Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something pretty much everyone does daily, but not many really master it. Getting better, significantly better at social media. This deep dive is really for you. Maybe you're building a brand, growing a business, hoping to become an influencer, or, just connecting with your community. We want to get past the basics, find those strategies that actually move the needle.
It's such a fast-moving space, isn't it? What works today might genuinely be outdated tomorrow. So our goal here is to give you a solid foundation, but also some really actionable things you can do, things that help you be more, let's say, intentional and effective online, regardless of how the platforms change. We're going to really break down some key insights.
Okay, so let's dive right into that first critical step our sources really emphasize, defining your why. Sounds basic, maybe, but you can't really improve your skills until you're absolutely clear on your core purpose. What's the big deal here?
It is a big deal, and it's funny how often people just, jump right in without thinking about this. Knowing your specific goals, like, is it building a personal brand, growing your business, maybe becoming a thought leader, or just finding your tribe, that fundamentally shapes everything else. Everything. Like if your why is business leads, your content, your metrics, everything looks different than if you're just building community.
Totally different focus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it makes you ask, okay, what are my top 3 reasons, the non-negotiables, for being on social right now and actually writing them down?
Yeah.
It can be surprisingly clarifying.
I completely agree. Gives you that filter for everything. Okay, so once you've got that why sort of locked down, the next piece is the platforms themselves. Understanding the playground, right? How do you really get a handle on each one's, unique vibe?
Precisely. And think about how different they are. Instagram, it's all about the visuals, the reels now. LinkedIn is much more professional, longer content, networking focused.
Yeah.
Then you have TikTok, which is just dominated by authentic short-form video trends, while Twitter is still king for real-time news and those quick text updates.
Yeah.
So to really level up, you got to dig into the algorithm, that hidden engine deciding who sees what.
Mysterious algorithm.
Right. Does it favor watch time, saves, shares, comments? Knowing that can totally change your approach.
A really practical tip is just spending, say, 10-15 minutes a day actively observing, not just scrolling, but seeing what top creators in your space are doing, researching new features, what's trending.
Actively observing. I like that, not just consuming. Okay, and that brings us to content. This is where it gets really, really interesting. We always hear content is king, but the sources we looked at, they hammer home that quality just absolutely crushes quantity. How do we actually do that? Make quality content?
Yeah, this is fundamental. It's not just about making things look nice. It's about making an impact. So improving your skills here means, yes, high-quality images and video, but also maybe learning some basic editing.
Think about how, like, a simple color grade or a snappy edit can make things feel way more professional. The absolute key, though, is consistently adding value. Are you entertaining, educating, inspiring?
Leave a point for the audience.
Exactly. And, crucially, develop your own style, something recognizable. Tools can help here, definitely. Things like Canva for design, CapCut is great for mobile video, Lightroom for photos, InShot too. They make it easier. It boils down to a pretty simple but powerful formula we saw. Hook, value, call to action.
That hook. So vital. You could have the best value, but if you don't stop the scroll...
It's gone, yeah.
Okay, so content is one thing, but social media, it's not a megaphone, right? It's supposed to be a conversation. Our sources really stress genuine engagement. What are some maybe less obvious ways to build that connection?
Right, it's not just post and pray. Are you actually talking with people or just at them? To really boost engagement, sure, reply to comments, but maybe go deeper. Ask open-ended questions in your captions. Use interactive stuff like polls, stickers, Q&As, and stories.
Those seem to work well.
They do, and collaborations. Often overlooked, but super powerful. Partnering with others in your niche exposes you to new, relevant people. And going live. It can be intimidating, but that real-time interaction builds amazing connection. Here's a pro tip. Dedicate maybe 15 minutes right after you post, just to engaging.
Oh, interesting. Right after.
Reply to initial comments, engage with others. It signals to the platform you're active, boosts visibility, and really helps build that community feel.
That immediate feedback loop makes sense. Now, consistency. This often feels like the hardest part for people, but the sources are crystal clear. Showing up regularly, even if it's not perfect every time, makes a massive difference. But how do we manage that? Like smart consistency, not just burnout level posting.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Hmm.
Consistency isn't just volume. It has to be strategic. So step one is a realistic content calendar, something you can actually stick to. Then use scheduling tools, Buffer, Later, Meta Business Suite, whatever works to make it manageable.
Take some pressure off.
Exactly. But here's the really critical bit. Analyzing your metrics, your reach, engagement, follower growth, clicks. These aren't vanity numbers. They're telling you a story.
What's actually landing?
Precisely. What's working? What's bombing? What does your audience really care about? And you have to be willing to pivot based on that data. If Reels are killing it compared to static posts, okay, maybe lean into Reels more. It seems obvious, but...
People often don't do it. They stick to the plan even if it's not working.
Right. So the core idea is right time, right format, right message, all informed by your insights.
Yeah.
That's what drives better reach and engagement.
That data piece is huge. Okay, finally. This landscape just changes constantly. What worked last year might be, totally irrelevant now. What's the secret to staying sharp, staying adaptable?
This might be the most important point of all, honestly. Social media is like a living thing, always evolving.
Yeah.
So to stay ahead, you absolutely have to commit to continuous learning, like make it a habit.
What does that look like practically?
It means actively following market experts. Find people you trust on YouTube, on X. Join some niche Facebook groups or online communities. That's often where the really cutting-edge tactics get discussed first. And maybe consider some short courses. Udemy, Skillshare, Google Digital Garage, they have great targeted stuff. But maybe the most powerful mindset shift is this. View every single post as a mini experiment.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Test different hooks, try different calls to action, play with posting times, then use what you learn to get smarter next time. It's this constant cycle. Learn, do, analyze, refine.
Treat every post as a learning opportunity. That's great. Okay, before we wrap up this deep dive, our sources had some really good bonus tips too, just to kind of supercharge things.
Absolutely. Some quick hitters. First, hashtags. Still relevant. Use relevant ones strategically to get discovered. Quality over quantity, though.
Right.
Second, share behind-the-scenes stuff. People love that. It builds trust, makes you relatable, shows the human. And third, focus on storytelling. Always. People connect with emotions, stories, not just facts or features.
Makes sense.
And lastly, maybe the most important one, stop chasing follower counts. Focus instead on building genuine relationships. A smaller, engaged community is way more valuable than a huge, passive audience.
That's a powerful reminder. Okay, so wrapping this all up, what does this mean for you listening right now? Getting good at social media, it's not an overnight thing. It's really a journey, right? Built with intention, strategy, data, and some creativity too. We've covered a lot from finding your why and learning the platforms to great content, real engagement, smart consistency, and always learning.
Exactly. I think the biggest takeaway really is that mastery comes from that ongoing cycle. Learning, doing, checking your results, adjusting, and repeat. So it really leads to the question, what's one small thing, one actionable step you can take today from all this? Something to make your social media time just a bit more intentional, a bit more effective. Because that consistent small effort, that's where the real growth happens.